Today I'll talk about control charts. Control charts are one of the statistical process control tools. Control charts graphically indicates if or not a process is under control. Process may be either a manufacturing process or a service process. They may be based on underlying statistical distribution or they may be distribution free. They either detect shift in mean or one of the central tendency or detect change in variation of process result. Control limits are usually based on standard deviation and sample size. These are various types of control charts. They can be divided into distribution based and distribution free. Distribution based control charts include Shewhart control chart, X bar R, X bar S, Shewhart individual control chart, P chart, NP chart, C chart, U chart, G chart, and there are special type of charts known as exponentially weighted moving average chart and cumulative sum chart. First, I'll talk about Shewhart control chart. In this, each of the result is plotted over time against the unit of measurement along y-axis. The center line represents mean of the values. The mean is calculated when the process was in control. The upper and lower control limits are given as plus minus 3 standard deviations, where standard deviation of the values when the process was in control. We can add other lines on the plot as multiplication of standard deviation, that is 2SD and 1SD. I'll illustrate the control charts using the R software. The package is QCC package. The data I will use is the inherent data in the package QCC known as piston rings data. Piston ring data include 40 samples with 5 observations in each sample. These are the diameter of piston rings. So this is a Shewhart control chart. This is the coding of Shewhart control chart using R language, and these are the upper and lower control limits, and this is the center line. Now X bar R chart include two components, X bar chart and R chart. X bar chart monitor the arithmetic mean of group of results of a process. Total groups are M, let us say, and each group is of size n. It is suitable for continuous data and it is based on assumption of normal distribution. Here mean of each group is plotted along with the following control lines. These are the control lines. The R chart component monitor the range, that is variance of M group results of a process. And these are the control lines for range chart. The values of A2 and D4 can be noted from this table. I have copied this table from this site. You can go through it. These are the values of A2, A3, D3, D4, B3, B4, which are used for various types of chart. This is the example of X bar R chart. This is the X bar component of the R chart. It is very similar to the previous graph which I have shown. This is the range chart or R chart component of X bar R chart. This illustrates the range or variance of the data. Then X bar S chart, it include two components, X bar chart and S chart. So X bar component, similarly, it monitors arithmetic mean of group of results of a process. Total groups are M and each is of size n. It is suitable for continuous data and is based on assumption of normal distribution. These are the control lines. S chart, it monitors the variance of M group results of a process. Uh, in S chart, the standard deviation of each group is plotted along with the following control lines. This is the X bar component of the X bar S chart. Then this is the S component of the X bar S chart or the standard deviation graph. It illustrates the variation of the data. Then CWAT individual control chart. It is used when there are single observations rather than group of observations. So if there are M samples and each sample includes single observation, we can use CWAT individual control chart. In this, we calculate the sequential standard deviation by using this formula and we get the lower control and upper control limits. What is the MR? MR is the moving ranges, and moving ranges are calculated by subtracting current value from previous value. So if there are M plus 1 observations, then there are M ranges. And we calculate the mean moving range to get the lower and upper control limits. This is the example of the chart I have taken from this website. Then C chart, it is a count based control chart. It can be used, for example, to illustrate the number of defects per unit produced. It is based on Poisson distribution. So if there are M inspections and each inspection inspect N units each time, then C bar is given by this formula and we can get lower and upper control limits. Total defects in a sample of N objects is inspected and is plotted each time along x-axis. So if this is the data and these are the headings of columns, you can use this code of our language to make the C chart. P chart, it is a proportion based chart where proportion of defective units are plotted over time. Unlike C chart, an object with one or more defects is counted as one in P chart. It is based on binomial distribution with assumption that probability of unit being defective is constant. P bar is the average of all proportions and we can get lower and upper control limits. Then proportion of defectives in a sample of Ni objects are inspected and plotted each time along x-axis. So this is the example of P chart. You can see the variable upper control limit. NP chart, it is again count based chart where NP is the number of defective items which are plotted over time. Unlike C chart, an object with one or more defects is counted as one in NP chart. It is based on binomial distribution with assumption that probability of unit being defective is constant. NP bar is the average of all defective items. You can get lower and upper control limits. Number of defectives in a sample of n objects is plotted each time along x-axis. Sample size n is constant in this. So here we plot the total number of defects in a sample of n objects. This is the illustration of NP chart. Then U chart it is a count based control chart. For example, number of defects per unit produced. So it is per unit. So unlike C chart, sample size of group may vary in U chart because the illustration is of defects per unit. It is based on Poisson distribution. If there are M inspections, then and each inspection Ni units each time is inspected, then U bar is the average and we can get lower and upper control limits, and defects per unit in a sample of Ni objects inspected is plotted each time along x-axis. So this is illustration of U chart. We can see the variable upper control limit here. G chart, it plots the number of events occurred in between rarely occurring error or critical incidents. So if there are errors and critical incidents which are rare enough, we can plot the number of runs in between which are error free. It is based on geometric distribution. If there are m total errors, then G bar is given by this formula. We can get lower and upper control limits, and number of events between two rare errors is plotted each time with stamp along x-axis. So this is the illustration of G chart. These are the error-free runs in between the errors, and these are plotted along with times stamp along the x-axis. Then this is the summary of control charts. Control charts can be divided into those which illustrate variables and other which illustrate attributes. Control charts which illustrate variable include mean chart, R bar chart, and S chart or SD chart. Control charts will illustrate attributes include P chart, NP chart, which are based on binomial distribution, C chart, U chart, which are based on Poisson distribution, and G chart, which is based on geometric distribution. Now we go on to special type of charts. One is known as exponentially weighted moving average, the other is cumulative sum. So first exponentially weighted moving average chart like Q sum chart is useful in detecting small shifts in the process mean. This take into account previous values, whereas the Shewhart control chart consider only last data point. What is the disadvantage? This chart cannot easily detect large shifts because large shifts get dampened due to incorporation of previous values. This is a formula for exponentially weighted moving average, and we can get upper and control, so upper and lower control limits. This is the illustration of the exponentially weighted moving average chart. We can see there is shift in mean at the end, towards the end of the data. Cumulative sum chart like exponentially weighted moving average chart is useful in detecting small shifts in process mean. Here we use slack parameter, and this is a formula for cumulative sum. This is illustration of cumulative sum chart. We can see there is shift in process mean towards the end of the data. Now I'll talk about the overall statistics of control charts. First, I'll talk about operating characteristics curve, and next I'll talk about process capability. So operating characteristic curves are used to determine a sample size that will result in detection of process change of practical significance while minimizing the false alarm, where the size of the process shift is represented by the number of standard deviations comprising the shift. So shift can be zero point 0.5 standard deviation shift, 1 standard deviation shift, or 2 standard deviation shift. And we are interested in the sample size which is required to detect that shift. So by using operating characteristic curve, we can investigate how the beta, and the power is given by 1 minus beta, how the beta depends on size of the process shift and the sample size. We can also calculate average run length, which is the expected number of samples that will be needed to examine before the shift is detected. It is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus beta. So this is the coding in R language to plot the operative characteristic curves. So if we use n is equal to 15, we get this graph, the leftmost one. And if we use only n is equal to 1, we get this graph. Now I'll talk about process capability. In every process, there exists certain amount of variation, and variation in a process cannot be eliminated, but it can be measured and controlled. A process capability study is used to assess the ability of a process to meet specifications. So we need specification limits, and specification limits are usually they are identified by customer surveys, the requirement of customers. Capability estimates like these essentially reflect the non-conformance rate of a process by expressing this performance in the form of single number. So that to determine how our process is operating, we can calculate either short-term variability indicators or long-term variability indicators. Short-term variability indicators are calculated by analyzing 30 to 50 data points. Long-term variability indicators are identified by analyzing 100 to 200 data points. Short-term variability indicators include CP and CPK. And long-term variability indicators include PP and PPK. So this is the formula for CPK and this is the formula for CP. So if CPK is more than 1.33, then the process is 99.99% capable. These are the acceptable limits of PPK and CPK. So this is the coding in R language to calculate the process capability indicators. So this histogram is the result of our process, and these limits, known as specification limits, are identified by customer surveys. The upper limit, lower limit, and the target. So this is all for today. Thank you very much.